Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of New Video Let's Talk. Today we're honored to have MartyParty and Victor, collectively known as the Chemists, doing some big things out here in Ottawa. And we're honestly, thank you guys first of all for coming out. And can you guys give us a little background? Maybe we can start with MartyParty, then Victor, just who you are and what you do.
Thanks for having us, guys. Appreciate that. 21st episode, we're out here. I guess my name is MartyParty, and I have been making music for a little while now. I'm a little bit older. I'm near my 30s, and I've been trying to freestyle and make some music by myself. And I kind of gave up on that, as I was still in school and whatever. And then I met Victor through a friend, and we spent a lot of years making music together under my moniker, and we'd make stuff from scratch. I'd bring a poem to him, and then we would make a whole beat from scratch, a whole idea. And he'd help me sing it. He'd help me write certain things. And then we made a couple of mixtapes together in a few years' time. Organized some shows, made some releases, just tried it out. And I felt really good about it because I had given up on it, right?
Yeah.
Luckily, I met Victor. Yeah. And then at some point, we ended up making the Chemists.
Victor, tell us a little bit about that.
I guess I opened a studio in 2018, because it started sort of as just a room, and then eventually I built walls and built kind of a real studio with some help from a family friend and stuff, and decided to really take music seriously. I used to play in bands in high school and stuff like that, and I had a band that gained some traction. We signed to this sort of mid-tier metal label in Ohio, and then we toured for a year and a half, 2 years, and then that sort of fizzled out. So around when that happened, I was a little lost. I was do I go back to school? What do I do? And then it was my mom really was a big guiding factor in no, you got to do music. And she helped me a lot along the way, loaned me a little bit of money, and helped me build my studio. And then originally I built it just to write songs and shop them around and produce beats a little bit here and there. But nowadays with FL Studio, and there's just the rise of the bedroom producer that you don't really need some guy to make you beats anymore. So I sort of got really enthralled with engineering and the technical component of what goes into recording and mixing a record. And then that was around the time when I met Marty. I had a functional studio for about a month when I met Marty. And then that's sort of where your story picks up. And then I guess the Chemists as an idea came about, I'm not going to say probably early 2021. Because
it was the beginning of a year.
Yeah.
It was the
I would say early 2021 was sort of when we were we already had a bunch of songs that we'd made together. Because I come from an artistic background. So that bone of your body never disappears. Even if you're behind the scenes, you still have a little bit of an inkling to get out there. And I feel being the artist component makes you good, I feel as a producer and an engineer as well. Understanding the perspective of an artist.
How young were you when you first picked up an instrument, or when you first got into music?
I was forced into piano lessons when I was 5 or 6, and then I hated that, so I quit that, and then now I regret doing that, as everyone who ever quit piano lessons says. But that taught me a little bit about theory that I held with me for a long time, and then I picked up a guitar when I was 10. I just made a fuck ton of noise for years, and then eventually
and he still fucking shreds.
And I still play. Yeah, I've been getting back into it too. Yeah, a little bit. I'm not technically savvy with bass. I can understand how to play it, just because when you play one string instrument, aside from maybe orchestral instruments, they're all kind of, it's the same concept. You kind of get the idea of it a little bit. But I would not call myself a bassist by any means. But yeah, and then through playing guitar, I understood that I wanted to learn how to play guitar mainly as a function of writing songs. I knew that my objective is to write songs, and then and then just getting into high school, just joining bands and shit, and writing songs and playing shows, and then eventually just being around music a lot, because I was in a band that wanted to be serious, and it's good to be around like-minded people, of course, right? So they were kind of my avenue into really taking it seriously and investing in a real studio, and leaving Ottawa and going to Montreal and working with this guy who no longer makes music. His name's Frank Chouflard.
Yeah,
that was the first real studio we ever worked out in Montreal.
Name drop.
And
you won't forget it though, right?
He's I view that I haven't talked to that guy in probably over 10 years, but I still kind of sort of call him my mentor a bit.
Yeah.
Because being an artist and being around someone, because he was really big on writing. He taught me that people have songs written for them. Like when you're 16, 17, you're like, I don't know, you hear a song, you like it, that's it, right?
Yeah.
That artist
Facts.
is sick. But you don't really understand like all the steps behind what goes into making a record you like, especially like on the mainstream radio level.
Yeah,
like the number of
artistry, right?
yeah, like the number of writers that might be on a record or producers. Like you don't really think about that. You just think about this artist is sick, I like that artist, and you just think they do everything. Obviously,
Of course,
right?
yeah.
Like Kanye, for example.
Well, yeah, well, Kanye is an example of someone who does do a lot of
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
But
He
like,
has we
but
have-
but you are right. That's true, actually. Yeah, that's a very good point. You do, yeah. Actually, that's a better point
like
than
the
I.
people we look up to, it's not
Yeah.
like they're not, nothing's done by themselves at this point, but like that's why it's so good at this point, right?
Well, I agree with you in
Yeah.
the sense that like we're trying to become like the Neptunes. You know, like Pharrell and that like the bassist, super cool guy.
Yeah.
Like they would make
Chad
music
Hugo.
together. Thank you, Chad Hugo. Like they make music together, but they would also make music for other artists. So like Justin Timberlake's album, the one in
Timberlake.
2001.
With Timberlake.
Keep doing the thing where you know the
Justified.
name. Thank you.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. He's on fire, boys. Not a boy, Victor Ross. But no, 2001, Justified came out, and that was an album that the Neptunes had written for Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So they already had the album written. So like we're the kind of people that like want to have that material ready for people or make it with them, and like to be in the studio with like, hey, you want to make a song and like you're an artist trying to pop off or like do bigger things or like level up from the level that you're at, take the time with us and we'll sit down, strategize where you're going, who your target market is, what kind of music you're making, what your sound is, and maybe where you should go or what you should keep doing. And like, you know,
That's a
work
really
with
cool
that.
kind of model, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like bringing in new artists like that and then kind of like helping them get to that next level and like showing them like, okay, maybe this is the best avenue based on like your vocals or like how you sound, because you guys have that experience behind you know what I mean? Yeah, man, that's dope.
And it works. Thank you. It works really well as a team because
Yeah.
like I'm an encouragist. Like I'll get you in your zone and like feeling good and like pushing it because like I do the same thing you do. Like you're in the studio, you're trying to go hard, but like in a sense where you get to be with Victor, where he's like, well, maybe it should be this or that. So like the way that I see Victor and I's relationship is like, I'll come up with 16 ideas.
Yeah.
He'll minimize them to the right 4.
Yeah.
So it's like I can just give you 60, not to say that he can't make them, but when it comes down to me making my own product or my own portion, I'll always like a minimizer in my group.
And like what you said kind of earlier is like what's sick is you guys even make music together. Like you guys showed us some unreleased tracks and like I hear Victor in the vocals, you know, I hear MartyParty. Like that's super unique and I think that's super sick. And I guess Marty, how did you get into music? Like, you know what I mean? Like were you singing from a young age?
Yeah.
Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about
I was
that.
singing from a young age. I took singing lessons. Like I'm adopted, so I have like parents that are from here. I'm in a very fortunate situation.
And they push you to sing?
No, they just like pushed me to do whatever I wanted to do, and like I wanted to follow my brother's footsteps by playing like hockey, playing soccer. But I had my own interests and passions, and making music was one of them. Like not making, but just music in general. And like one thing that one thing I really believe is like all the music you hear in your entire life subconsciously gets downloaded to your bank.
Real, because somehow I'll listen to a song and I'll think about like a time in my life, and that song is like that like loophole to get me to that memory. So keep on going. Sorry.
No,
but
dude,
like that's
hundo.
crazy.
Hundo, because like yeah, like everything you've heard, like even going to church or whatever, like all those melodies and rhythms and hymns, like video games, like TV show melodies, like whatever, like all that shit, you know. Even the songs like when you're in high school.
GTA, when
Yo,
you're riding through GTA, it's a
All
beat leader,
those,
right?
all those radio stations. I used to go on barriers and be like, "Oh
Yeah.
shit," you know.
Looking for the Miami Vice one. You know?
That was you? That was the Miami Vice?
Hundo P.
So at a young age, you just like always had music, I guess, kind of ingrained in your.
Yeah, like I always loved different stuff, and like it added to my bank, and I liked hearing different things, the radio, whatever. And yeah, I ended up doing singing lessons, a bit of guitar
Sick.
lessons, but like for like a year or two.
Who's your favorite artist then? Like
Oh,
from
Lil
a
Wayne.
singing standpoint, like
Oh,
who actually can like
him.
you try to mimic.
Well, I'd say The Weeknd is a good idea to go with.
That's good.
It's like the most generic. I'll always give you generic ideas. Like, but honestly, like my inspirations for this album have been Chase Atlantic and Polyphia and Manila Grey. So those are names that maybe you don't know.
Where's Manila Grey from?
Vancouver, Manila.
Okay, so
Manila is
Canadian
like in the
legend,
Philippines, and Grey is
Yeah,
like
yeah,
Vancouver's the
Yeah,
Grey.
she's a Filipino artist that's living in DC, right?
DC?
BC. For,
Yeah.
Yes,
They're
okay.
from there. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
representing that whole shit, bro. They're hard.
That's awesome.
But sorry, I'm rambling a little bit.
No, no worries.
Like the answer to the question was like, yeah, I listened to some music. I did some little lessons here and there. I played guitar here and there, but You know, I just liked music. And then I think it was when I graduated high school, the last year I made some friends because I wanted to be more social. And I met friends at work, and we started like, that's when I got introduced to hip hop music.
Yeah.
And I was starting to study it and be like, how does, you know, what was 10 years ago? Like,
Who were you studying?
Lil Wayne. At the
Lil
time,
Wayne,
Lil
eh?
Wayne was on fire.
Yeah.
He was doing everything. I'd go back home from high school and go on like any website, he just dropped a song. And he was at the last feature, the last 4 minute, 50
He's the
seconds.
anchor. He's the
You don't
anchor.
listen to anything else. You skip right to Lil Wayne's verse and you go, what the fuck? He was on fire, you know what I mean?
A milli.
Right around those times.
Craziest.
Yeah. Like the card to this day, when I get a water bottle in the machine, I type in C3. I did it today. I did it every day, bro. It's C3. Why the Carter 3, bro? Little Wayne's the shit. So anyways, he was like my whole idea of like, I want to rap. He's a smart person. I'm a smart guy. I skipped a grade. I was like really nerdy. So I was like, yeah, I'm like socially kind of not where I want to be, but like I'm intelligent in the sense that I love poetry. And like maybe Lil Wayne is my bridge to like finding this out. So I studied that. I loved it. I listened to it a lot. Freestyling was my thing. MartyParty was a name that was given to me.
Yeah. What does Marty Party mean? Like it was just given to you? Like by whom?
So like that summer when I graduated high school,
Yeah.
I went to workplace and I made some friends and they introduced me to places. And that's what how I met you guys too, like 4 years down the line.
Yeah.
But like I was like, oh, I want to meet more people.
But I remember, you would always be on like your poetry and like your rap.
Yeah,
and, like, always
like-
in the grind. Like
I'm like, I'm
really
gonna
deep in
present
that.
myself. Even to
Yeah,
this day, bro. We were hanging out fucking 2-3 days ago with like he was rehearsing doing guitar, and I'm like, I want to freestyle, and they were freestyling, and I still want to show my chops. It's still a part of
I
me.
respect that though, bro. Honestly, I
Yeah.
really respect that about you, bro. It's like because I've seen you like 5 years ago, like probably even longer, bro. Let's be honest, like time flies. Probably like 6-7 years ago, but you were always on your grind, committed to that. You know
Well,
what I mean?
respect, bro. Cheers to you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Cheers,
respect,
brother. Of
respect. But no, honestly, like just to keep it short, I've been rambling for a little bit, you know. But it's yeah, like that got me to start to like freestyling, and then I met these guys. We go to parties, and I wouldn't mind being the one person. Like if I only know you and you know everybody else here, I don't mind showing up at the party. I don't mind. Like
Yeah.
that's
Why?
like
Why though?
I want to meet new people. I want to start fresh.
That's important.
You know, I don't know enough people. I want to recalibrate. I didn't murder nobody in my background, but I didn't know anybody. I don't know myself. That was the kind of struggle I had 10 years ago, which would lead me to be like, well, what's my party trick? My party trick is I can freestyle. So at a certain point in time, if you know we have the attention of people, hey, can we put on some beats? And I would steal the show. I love spotlight. I love attention. You know what I mean? And I could really be in my element and show
You
the
ever
best
do
of myself.
comedy?
Kind of, but it's not good, you know? Just stupid comedy, no real good jokes.
It's like a lot of people who like being center of attention, not necessarily like saying that I think music was that, but like a lot of people attribute comedy to the same feeling of that, right?
I agree. Entertainment, all eyes on me type thing, for sure. I'm just not as smart as they are. And I'm not like witty with my words in that sense. I don't know how to load up a joke, but I definitely do know how to catch a fucking rhythm. And that's one thing I realized is I was like, you know what? I like this. And I gave up on it. You know, when I met you guys, I kind of was on the way out. I was like, well, it's not making me any money. I did my own videos. I tried by myself. I don't know how to work these systems. It's not going to work for me. I went back to school and I met him through a friend of a friend. And I'm like, well, thank God. I met somebody who is not only able to do all the machinery that I want him to do, but has been in a band and toured. So he knows all the instrumentals that I don't know. I don't know chords. I don't know notes. He knows all that stuff. He's also a good singer where he can sing to my level even better than me and push me to sing higher. So when I go to the studio and I go, I'm going to sing it like, ma, 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 ma. He's like, why don't you bring it an octave high? And I'm like, ma, 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 ma. And all of a sudden, it's a tough session. I thought it was going to be easy.
So
I
give
thought it
us
was going to
some-
be easy.
Give us something.
It's recorded. It's going to be given to you. You know, that's what you get. But like, I don't know. Like, it's going to be there for real. Like all the music recorded is really fucking crazy. And he's gone through it like 16 hours a song, mixing every level. So I can't just sing to you right now. It's gonna be as good as what he
Victor,
does.
like for you, bro. Like I feel like music's always been a part of your life. When it turned into a business, did that affect music at all, or like did that affect like what you were letting out?
I think in a positive way.
That's sick.
To be honest, I guess like when I started, when it became a business for me, I think like at the beginning of it, it was a business in the sense where like I had a role to play as like the technical guy for like the first year and a half, 2 years. Like people would just show up with their like beats they found on YouTube, or just some kid produced his beat and like I want to record on it, and I had a microphone and a preamp and shit. So like people would pull up and record whatever. And which was still great. I'm still doing music for a living. Like that's still great.
Yeah.
But I think I put like the creative in me to bed for a while, and yeah, and then like I think like part of why why we work so well together is because like Marty was one of the first people to like allow me to open up like the creative void that I'd been hiding away, you know, like and challenge me to like make beats and like start ideas from scratch and like not just like press record over some YouTube. And like one of the first sessions we ever did was kind of the session you're referencing, where like I pushed you to go up an octave on a hook.
What beat
or
was
something.
that? That was not the Ray Sherman
dude.
one. It was not Problem. I listened back to it 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, it wasn't Problem. Problem's in the same key. It was, but for some reason, I always feel like that moment was like you made me sing a key up, and I don't remember what song it was.
I think it, and whatever. We'll have to look for it. We'll have to look for it.
Yeah, like
I think
wow.
it was 40.
Oh, 40?
I think is what it was.
40, yeah.
Yeah,
Because you
bangers,
sang high
banger.
on that.
Bro, I know that jam. Honestly,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go back
cool.
into like,
That's actually so cool.
I think that yeah, like this is like the early
sing a little bit?
yeah.
Oh my god. I don't want to sing too loud. I'ma just hit up a shorty. She gonna go down with that 40.
Yeah,
Is that
nice.
loud?
Bro, this
Was
is
that
like
too loud?
This is like
Did I break
this is
it?
like the
Okay.
weekend, bro. Like the voice is not like fake. Like
Well,
you,
thanks,
you
but
have
this,
to like.
this guy's
Oh, I
here.
know, and I heard
This
your
guy's
voice
here.
there too.
He's a vocalist. That's the thing that people don't understand. That's why I want to come here. Is like I am a very fucking awesome artist, and I'm very narcissistic. I believe in myself. I'm gonna be there, and he's gonna be there to help me no matter what.
Yeah.
But this dude has the lyrical skill. Like, bro, the shit we're working on now, or what we've already done. Or, like, I hope you guys listen to our discography. or, like,
100%. What do you mean? We
Yo,
100%
this
will.
guy is so fucking talented at writing that I feel at some moments when I get presented a song, like he'll give me like a whole beat, a whole song with the verse open, and I genuinely believe I can only ruin this. Like, there's no way I can do anything but fuck this up.
Why do you have that, like,
Because it's
perception?
so good.
No, man, that's huge.
It's so
that's
good.
Huge.
Like, it's so good, like the way that it is.
You're scared to fail them, like, right?
No,
'Cause,
no.
like,
I'm narcissistic. I believe in myself, and I end up making it
No, but
happen.
like,
because
but-
I'm the shit. But it's so goddamn good. You know, maybe that's a weird thing to say, but like, it's like I get mesmerized by my own partner. I'm
No,
like,
but it's not though. That's
God
special,
damn,
bro.
like,
I think that's-
and
yeah.
honestly, that's why the music that we heard out there, the unreleased tracks, that's why we're all out there dancing like it's a music video.
Fair
There was
enough.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people, and we were just banging out as if it was like a big hit. You know what I mean? It's because that chemistry you guys have with one another, bro.
Chemists.
Like you know what I mean? Damn.
Well, that's kind of it's kind of funny that
that's
you
the hot
walked
word.
into
Give us
that.
a shot.
It's
That's the
funny
give
that
us
you
a shot.
walked
That's
into
the hot
that.
word.
think-
Drake,
I
bring me a
think
shot,
the-
bro.
Yeah, you gotta get a
I ain't
potato.
playing. I actually
Did
want a
someone
shot.
pass?
No cap.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. Like, I think Ricardo hit
We
everything.
have our own shit. No cap. No cap.
I almost said
Yeah.
chemistry
No, no,
earlier
no,
myself. That's
Okay,
more
let's
than a
keep
shot.
going, but so like I loved how Ricardo hit that, but it's actually really true because like to be honest with you, like I seen you doing music.
Thank you, bro.
I seen you doing music and like I thought you guys were really good together.
Yeah.
I think you guys are amazing because I kind of what my thought process because like I've always loved music, but I think you guys kind of figured out what you do and what you do. It benefits both of you.
Right.
So well. Like marketing, just talking, like even to just having the support system.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
Well, for sure. I mean, everything you touched on is 100% correct, but more so than that, like I just think that like we come from because we did this like independent of each other for a while, but like we were all making music in the same space. You know what I mean? Like I think we kind of came to a realization that like we make a lot of songs together kind of by accident. You know? We're just
fire.
like we have a night just like off the Tito's or whatever the fuck, and we're just at the studio and like we just like make a song and like we really like it, but we kind of understand there's no avenue for this. Like we haven't like created a reason to. And then like when the pandemic hit, I was like, well, fuck it, dude, we're not doing anything. Like here's a bunch of shit. Like this is when Marty was sort of talking about me opening up poems, right? Like I had a bunch of songs that like I just started and like beats I'd made, and we put out our first project, The Come Down. It was a super low key project. It was kind of just like for fun, really. At the time, but it just made sense. It's like, dude, what are we doing? Like, we're two people. we've been doing this for a while.
Well, can I say that at the time I had an album that I was gonna put out that you and I were making together, and it was
That's also true. Yeah.
14. No,
What's
dude,
the
that
name?
Bring on the Night, and that 20 songs on that file that we made from scratch together, and some of those songs we made a video for and never came out. It was like a weird time, man. Like, we were always going to be a fucking squad regardless. But it was at the point where, like, he is his own artist making his own shit under Ghosts. Right? And I'm MartyParty. But he's also Rip Victor, the producer, working for a lot of artists. He's also, like, this guitarist that works for other people. Yeah. He has a lot of faces, right? But he's always a creative, making poems, writing down some shit. So at a certain point, when we have this album that we're working on, like, everything I do is with him. So my album's with him, right? We have a whole album, shooting a video. We didn't really like what it looked like. We're like, table it, you know? And he was like, hey, like, I haven't gotten to be my artist in a while because I'm so busy. I have these poems. And I was like, God damn, these are fucking crazy. Like, yo, I could only fuck these up. I would ruin them. Like, they're so good. You know what I mean? Like, you're so amazing. Like, this is crazy. And that ended up being the come down. And he was like, why don't we do this as a thing? And I'm like, well, can we? Like, can we be a thing? And, like, 1 year passes. And now he's like, hey, like, we should go meet this videographer in Toronto. His name's Dragon Andic, which is a good segue to our videos, right? He's all from the same video guy that we're fucking working with. These are video
That's the
director.
last video that just came out, right?
Yeah, I Want It All. He's the videographer for it.
Sick video.
And thank you.
So
yeah.
sick.
That guy did a great job. We had a great time. We did a really good job on that shit. Like, I'm happy with it and everything. But, like, he was the one to say, hey, why don't we go and meet up with this videographer and meet this person. And one thing led to another, and then we ended up, you know, investing a lot in our careers.
That's what I was gonna say. Like what was like your train of thought when you're like, okay, we gotta get into video now? Was that just like social media like popping and you know you had to market yourself, or?
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, of course, but like I feel like the struggle for us a lot too was like you know, like I think that like when you're when you decide to really invest in yourself, especially as a creative, like you just want to figure out like what's the like fastest way to, maybe not the fastest way to climb the ladder, but it's like this is the product we want to put out, and we're looking at something that is a huge label budget going into something, you know, and we're kind of, you sort of need to figure out how am I going to do that myself, right? Like if you really want to stay within a budget and you want to focus on like marketing and building an audience online and whatnot. So like, yeah, like when we ended up going to meet Dragon, like our mindset was like, well, we'll meet a bunch of creatives there, because we understood that like, you know, being guys that like, we've been doing this for a while, you know what I mean? And like the social media era for us kind of ended, you know, like we're not like super active on there, especially like me, like working in a studio every day. Like if I'm in a studio 60, 70 hours a week, like I'm not like, what am I posting? Like it's complete silence.
We're
in my
old
life
and we
most
don't
of the
want
time.
bad attention.
Well, it's just like, yeah, it's like, it's
But,
not
like,
so much that you
social
don't
media
want.
could like really leverage like stuff too. You know what I mean? Like,
Bro,
Well, it's not that it's
Because, like,
it's an overall good or
if
bad
you have
thing.
60 hours in a studio, I feel like, yo, you just showing like people like how you like
No, yo,
do your
it's content.
engineering.
Yo,
It's
content.
It's really
I
Well, that's
agree.
actually content
Yo,
that I'm in the process of putting together.
But
That's our fucking struggle
so would
right
it be
now.
a content in the aspect like, do you want to do like a doc about it? Like, do you want people to see a long form of it, or like YouTube?
I think that like we do want to do an eventual long form thing. It just needs to be the right timing. Like I feel like for this project that we've been working on now for about a year, or over that, probably like 18 months
Dude,
now.
yeah, what?
Wait, when is this project releasing and what is it called?
I don't want to say a release date yet. I have one in mind,
Yeah, yeah.
but there's just a lot of shit up in the air right now.
What it's
that like
called?
it's called I Can't Feel a Thing Anymore is the name of the project, and it's dark, you know.
Sad boy shit.
Yeah, you know, it's very like, we kind of like dug deep into like what we really wanted to, you know, we really wanted to discuss a lot of like, there's a lot of self-destructive shit on there. There's a lot of like escapism on there, you know. Like I feel like the color palette is like a deep red, you know, like that was kind of what we were going for. And I think that like, you know, we were talking off camera earlier about like I think going into the project, like we just had like a bunch of songs and then we ended up cutting them at all these different studios. Like we recorded like 3 records at 669 in Toronto. We recorded 2 records at Orange Lounge in Toronto. We recorded 1 record in my house, and then we recorded 4 records at Audio Valley.
And you have the line about where you are in like Slide Orange Lounge.
Yeah. The address is in the slide too. Yeah. So like that was a record that was recorded there, and so it's a bit of a like I look at the album as a little bit of a timepiece as to like what we were going through, and that was just like moving around a lot. Life was chaos. Our journey with this new videographer Dragon that we just met, and we decided to just like we're gonna fully invest in this idea and have this guy creative direct everything we're doing for this project and see how it goes. And we were kind of playing ball. Like to go back to like originally what you were asking was like a part of that logic was entirely to do with social media and content, because we kind of understood between each other that like we're not good at this, so we kind of need to just like outsource this a little bit. Like we need to find someone who's tried and true good at this. And ideally somebody who's on the come up himself, somebody who like has something to prove, that is already kind of a few rungs of the ladder ahead of us that we could like maybe link up with and open up our project to him, and hopefully he'll take it to where it needs to be. And like all of the content that like we post is entirely like Photoshop by him, videos. Obviously, all of them were by him. Yeah, that's Dragon. Yeah.
So, what made you be confident in Dragon?
When we met him, it was at his event. So he had this panel called Moments last November, I want to say, November 2021. Okay. And this was like around the time when we were cutting this album. We were like probably 50% through recording it. And I organized a group of guys from Ottawa. Like, let's just go to Toronto. There's this panel. There's this director. He's an EXO house collaborator. Let's go. Let's just go see what the panel is. Let's go meet creatives. We didn't think we were going to meet him. You know, like we kind of just
at all.
Yeah.
We were down there on the way to Toronto, and
so
we're
you guys
like,
have those connections also, though.
we're not gonna meet him.
Sure.
We worked for them though.
Well, I just asked because
it's hard. Like
how do you get in those rooms, right?
So you get in those
that's
rooms.
the biggest thing, right?
Here's what we did was
humility is a key thing, but honestly, bro, material. Like at the end of the day,
money buys everything.
Pay to play is a real thing. Yeah.
And
that's what we're doing right now.
So explain it to us.
But like to get to know him, I think that it comes down to like humility, which is experience gained, and also skill and longevity potential.
Silver tongue.
Well, yeah, I work in sales. I've been in sales for 12 years, so yeah, I know that. You know, I know how to get my way in. Like when he was bringing us to the panel, I knew that when he opened up the floor to the questions, and I'm sitting all the way back at 100 people, I'm like, hey,
I'm ready.
Would you work with artists that have a low budget? You know, and that's how we waited in line to go talk to him. And I was like, hey, I was the guy. Like, I'll go. And that's why I respect you guys. You're the same way. You know, you got a chance to leave no stone unturned. Right. But at the end of the day, it comes down to fucking realistically, are you good or not? Are you good or not?
Talent.
Do you spend 10,000 hours into this or not?
That's
is this really what you're gonna live and die by or not? What are you really falling back on? Like, are you really all in? You know, and if you're really all in, like, how do you stand in your field? Who cares? Who cares? Nobody has to care, bro. Nobody has to care. You know? Who really fucking cares? Like, you have to get to the point where you realize, all right, bro, this is really rough. This is really tough. Like, the way that I judge artists or whatever, I'm mean. The way I judge celebrities, I'm mean. So it's like, what if I put myself there? Like, what if somebody's mean to me? Like, how am I going to react to that? Well, I'm putting myself out there. So obviously I can take that.
Treated the same way, right?
No, you have to realize that's how it goes. Yeah. And the only people that go there is because they believe in what they're doing. They don't care what you say. They're like,
I love what you said
thing.
though in regards to like, are you really putting in 100%? Because I feel like a lot of people don't realize like you actually have to put in the work.
You gotta go
like a lot of people
deep.
are like, they have the dream, you know, they half-ass it. Oh, why isn't it working? And why isn't it working?
Yo, you gotta sacrifice to the point where you're like, oh my God, what the hell? And here we are right now, bro. We got no money. Like, we're fucking struggling. This guy is working fucking 11 hours a day with random artists. I'm working 40 hours a week, and I'm going as much as I can.
Same here with the podcast. You know? Men's are working and men's are grinding.
We put in all the money we can.
And that's what I love, though. That's what I really love is the fact that, like, you know, like, this is what it's about. It's like you got to put in that initial work, yo. And follow your passions, follow your dreams, yo.
Yeah.
We can all be full-time 40 hours and not making music.
40 hours
and not doing
shit.
a podcast.
Yeah.
And not doing that. But you know what? We're doing it and we're putting our work and we're putting our efforts in, you know?
100%. Like to be a millionaire, it's 80 hours a week or like 70 hours or 60 hours at the very least.
At a shitty job, though. It's like, do you want to do what you actually like doing?
Yeah, that's
and make
not
good money?
entirely
No, but
true.
like if I'm working a 40 hour a week job type thing and like making a good amount, but like it's not what I want to do for my life. It's not my career. So it's like I got to spend 20 or 30 hours or 40 hours or 60 hours the next week on top of that to be. That's why.
Are you familiar with the book Rich Dad Poor Dad?
No,
because I read
put me
that
on,
book
put
and
me
it's a
on.
super sick book and it talks about like always be focused on your own business. So if I ask you, what is your business? You're not telling me your job. You know what I mean? Like
My
for-
business is
exactly. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I'm a lawyer. Oh, I'm a nurse. No, but what is your business?
your
Like, what is
brand,
your
like
business? You know what I mean?
Instagram type
And with
shit.
you guys, it's like we can go beyond that, right? We can be like, okay, this is your business, right? And I feel like that's so important.
That's
to
hard.
have something else other than just like what you label yourself as your income. Like just have something else like that you're passionate about. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and I feel like that's kind of like the thing. Like, dude, at a certain point, like I want to get better and better and better and better. And like, here's the situation I'm in. Right, we're in different situations. We're together, but like I feel like when I met Victor, I was on the way out. I was going to quit. I was going to stop, and I had to
Music,
prove
right?
myself to this person who was already opening a studio to artists.
Yeah.
And he's luckily saying, oh, the first time that I got to open up and make beats for somebody, bro, I'm lucky I got to meet him. You know what I'm saying? And I have to be better and better and better than every other person he's working with. Not in the sense that they have to be terrible, but I need to compete in a sense where it's like the NCAA. Like,
Yeah, like I need his
yeah, I would
time.
be the number
I need
one
his
draft
respect.
pick.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever he's gonna make a band, I gotta be the guy. I am in my dream position. I always told him like I want to be your champion. I want to be your champion. I want to be the guy that like this nigga's like we're gonna make tracks together and we're gonna spend all this time together for real. And now we go to Toronto together in his car. He picks me up. We go together. We go to his fucking family's crib. We're chilling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Thanks to me being connected with
That's
this guy,
family. That's
where I'm like,
family,
that's
yeah.
fam, and like I wanted to earn that relationship because like I respect the guy. I see where he's at. I know how good I am and I know what I can do, but bro, if he's here, like, what are you talking about? And the point that he's actually lit like that with me, I'm like, bro, I have to convince my friends all the time what we're doing. I'm like, hey, by the way, it's not just me. It's him too. And he's like, oh, I'm like, guys. If I didn't know him, I wouldn't be doing this. I wouldn't be here. Oh, well, you're the face. You're the guy. I'm like, guys, whatever you want to see it as, white, black. Like, I don't know what's going on here. This is a new duo. Nobody's been a white and black duo, producer and rapper. Like, it hasn't been on the field. But our music is at that level. So when we compete with these people at that level, we go, damn, bro, we got to be all in for real. Like, we can't be, like, half-assing shit. You got to be trying your hardest. I look around me. Dragon's working with Nav. He was on tour with Drake when he was with the Migos. I'm like, okay, so I can't be fucking around here. Like, you know what it is to be at the top level. Like, that's where I'm trying to get. I want to, like, earn my way, sneak my way into that tough competition, like, cutthroat shit. Everybody there is amazing. Thank you so much, man. Thank you so much.
bro.
Like, cutthroat competition type shit. And I want to prove myself there. Like, I want to do more. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like in Ottawa, like, sure, we're here, you know, but like what they always say, like, move out of your city, go to the big place, whatever, and compete there. But like, yo, for real, y'all think you can do what it takes when you're there? Like, that's so much fire. Cause like it takes another level of fucking explosion in that volcano.
That's
And
fire.
bro, Victor, being a producer and working with someone with this much fucking passion and fire, how does that feel? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because like
oh,
at the end of the
already.
day, as a producer, like, man, you're making like the magic as well. I feel like producers don't really get that credit. You know, like Marty said,
We're
it's not-
starting to.
You're starting to now.
Yeah,
I know.
50%.
But like, how does it feel working with someone that's passionate and also like putting your own creative style as well?
You always want to work with someone who's passionate and pretty no holds barred with what they do, for sure. You know, like, I mean, like, at the end of the day, like, you know,
There's no peaches in this stuff, by the way, right?
That's mango.
In the red one?
Marty's allergic.
I'm sorry.
Or you're allergic to peaches?
Yeah.
Yeah.
got a quick allergy check here.
Allergy check.
I'm a little bitch.
Punch and mango.
Perfect. Yeah. Thanks.
No, check check
Yeah,
the
are we sure?
ingredients.
Fruit punch and mango? Should we?
Yeah, check the ingredients.
Fruit punch is
Apple and pineapple concentrate.
I don't think Vic wants to save him right now, do you?
It's fine.
Well,
I only
no,
had
I know,
one
I
sip,
know.
so it's fine. Like if it has had peaches in it, it's not the end of the world.
No.
Okay.
Blueberry and carrot.
All right.
Okay.
sure.
Okay,
okay.
Thank
We're
you.
good.
All
We're
right,
good.
3,
We're good.
2,
We're
one.
I was
good.
wondering. I was
back
like,
in.
why'd you give me the orange one? Now I know.
Sorry. Sorry.
Nah, it's
Okay,
not.
Vic,
We're
Vic.
rolling, dude. This is.
But yeah, Vic, like, tell us a little more about the relationship, even to just being like the producer and being the one that people just kept bringing people to, right? Because like I think as a producer, it's like you're the one who's gonna make the magic,
Right.
They'll just keep bringing you the weapons, right? But you don't know how to use the weapons because like every weapon's different, right?
Well, I mean, that's how you differentiate a good and a bad producer, right? Like, I think at the end of the day, I'm just lucky enough that I've been around a lot of music for a lot of my life, and I grew up in a part of Ottawa where like I was constantly exposed to different things growing up. You know, like I wasn't constantly listening to one thing, and I was so like I'm passionate about a wide variety of different things, and like the best thing about working behind the desk is you don't have to be one thing, and I feel like that was a box I put myself into a lot being in a band, and like I think that's why like. You know when you're really like investing your all into something, but you have this inkling in the back of your mind, you're like, this isn't gonna work. You know, realistically, it's like you know, it's like a fucking bad marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or it's like at the end of the day, it's like you kind of understand that like you know that like you want to do different shit, but like you're gonna stomach whatever you got to stomach to figure out who you are and like to get to the next fucking bag. You know?
Yeah.
And like I think I went through that a lot being in a band, not because I wasn't happy with the band I was in or happy with the music we were producing. It was great. But like the thing is that like I knew that just from what I've been exposed to, like there's more out there for me, and like I want to subject myself to whatever that is. So like the good thing about being a producer and like in the neighborhood I grew up in and shit is that I got to do Afrobeat one day. I got to do fucking like I've done jazz, I've done like traditional like Somali music, I've done like hip hop a lot, obviously. You know, I get to do R&B, I get to do pop.
Yeah.
You know, I get to do all sorts of different things, and like I think that like this is all shit that like depending on what day of the week it is, like I want to listen to a different one of those things.
Yeah.
So like I think that like yeah, you're being given different weaponry, but I feel like the more studied you are in it, it's like any field. You study, you know? You just figure out you learn like who are your influences, you know? Like figure out like what do these people like? And what do they do, and how can I utilize myself as a weapon to adhere to whatever they're going for?
Who's your motivator besides like recording DJs or like producers?
Like, who do you look up to? I guess
Like, who do I look up to?
Yeah,
those three.
like
Yeah,
mentors.
Like producers. Give me the top 3 producers.
Well,
Top three producers.
you're in this thing going on for like so that's for mixers, sorry, right? It's like,
oh, that's different. Yeah, that's more for yeah. That's the thing, right? Is like there's so many fucking hats. Like if you have a studio, you have to wear like 3-4 hats if you want to like.
What are they?
Recording engineer, mixing engineer. A lot of guys consider themselves a mastering engineer, and a lot of guys
Songwriter.
songwriter, producer.
That's
And then a record producer, you could be a vocal producer, you could be a beat producer.
8.
Like there's so many. Yeah, that's 7, I think.
you named 8.
I named 8. Okay,
Yeah.
well, there's a lot of fucking
Yes,
shit you got to
too
do.
many.
Yeah.
At least a little bit. And I think that like everyone who makes it in the industry as one of those things has a decent understanding of what all the other ones do. Anyway,
Yeah.
I think you just find your niche eventually, and you just go with that. But
fair.
so I mean, like I'm inspired by a lot of different people that do a lot of different things. So it's a hard question because like there's people I look up to in so many different fields.
Who were you listening to, like fucking to
Before
mix
you
our
got
album? Like no, to mix because it was
Oh, who was
899. He was listening. He was on his text. He had 20 minutes in his life to read his text, and I'm like, I'm gonna leave him alone. And then we're in an Uber here, and he's like, I want to read his text. I'm like, fair enough. We spent like 5-hour drives together, and like my rambling to him. I'm like, you know what? Take your fucking
I think
time.
that after a certain point, like doing like when you're behind the scenes, and this is like a shitty cop out answer to this question, I think listening to music kind of becomes your job, because I think at a certain point, like you stop like. This sounds dismal, but you almost stop doing it for enjoyment. You do it to study, you know?
Yeah.
You do it to figure out what's hot right now, why is it hot,
I'm never
what
doing
makes
that
it good.
shit.
So like
I'm
I think
never doing
that
that
like
in my
to a certain degree, like there's certainly a lot of artists growing up that maybe inspired me, but I don't really think that like they have a lot to do with what I do now necessarily. And on top of that, like if you're a producer, if you're a semi or an actual professional in any industry, but especially like in a creative one, like you have to talk your own shit, you know? At the end of the day, like you can't look up to anybody really. You have to put yourself on that same pedestal in your own head. So like you have to look at yourself like it's not about like who I look up to, it's about what makes me different, you know?
Yeah.
But like along the way you're gradually going to grab things from other people that you're inspired by to some degree for sure. But yeah, like every day is different for me, you know what I mean? Like I've got like street artists that put me onto like underground rap shit all the time. I got people putting me onto shit like it's crazy. So like I hardly listen to music for enjoyment at this point. Like for me, it's all just like studying.
Yeah.
You know?
But that's how you know you're really like into it. When,
Yeah.
when you talk
Oh, I
about it,
have
like
to be.
you're studying it. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's what I mean. Like you have to be. Like
Yeah.
you're like really like the brains of it.
Well, you're talking about what is your business? Like, this is my business.
Yeah,
you know?
that's
So
dope.
It's your
I love
love.
that.
It's your love.
yeah,
I love that.
absolutely.
I'll just say, okay, I'll question both of you. What's your favorite track you made together? We'll start with you and then
Leave
you.
Me to Die. And the reason why, I'll tell you after he tells you his title.
Yeah.
Oh, the favorite track we've made together.
I was quick because I've always said this.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I mean,
We've
Leave
done
Me to
rehearsals for
Die.
like
Hey.
30 nights.
Leave Me to Die is a good
Hey.
story. You know what though? I'm gonna say
Allow him to- allow
the
him
the
to
track we
understand.
just put out, I Want It All. I'm not gonna say it's like it's not my favorite track as far as like I think this is the best song we've made, but I'll get into my reason after you. But I'm gonna say I Want It All, and I'll explain why in a minute.
You sure that's your final
Yeah, that's my answer.
bro?
I
Okay,
love it.
okay,
I'll
okay.
explain
Okay,
why.
let's
love
see.
it.
What's the reason why?
Because he's heard me say this like a million times. Like, Leave Me to Die is a song that I initially wrote during COVID times, and it was like my first time actually getting like really vulnerable. I feel like the only time that I was Marty Party, who was an undefeatable creature who would kill it every night, ups only, you know?
Yeah.
Only on the bright side. Like, whenever things are going well, like, let's talk. Let's never talk when it's, like, you know, maybe not going too well, you know? But I wasn't feeling too well. And I wanted to talk about it. And COVID was happening. And, you know, life is going on. And I was just drinking, like, my life away. And I'm like, man, like, every night I try to wash my sins away, diving into a pool of champagne. And I was like, damn, that's kind of hard, you know? It's not really champagne. I'm not really in a pool. You know what I'm saying? But like,
Yeah. That's what
damn,
you
bro,
felt. That's what you felt
that's
in
a
that
bar.
moment.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, like I'm on that poem right now, and like I kept going on with it, and I was like writing like 68 bars. I went to him, and he was like, that's pretty cool. And by that time, we were making a lot of music together, and that was with some other artists, and we made a song together, and it's called Lost in the Night, which is like. Is that not what it's called, or is it Toxic Tendencies?
Toxic Tendencies. Was
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know if that's the real name.
Yeah.
That's just what the session was
Regardless, what happened is I was with this other artist who I fucking respect, you know, and like I love this guy, you know what I mean? And like I want to give him my best product. I feel like my best product is worthy to give to him.
Yeah.
It's going to be monetarily successful as well. And Victor said, "Hey, whoa, bro. You got a 64 bar, 68 bar gear? Like, dog, you got like 2 songs in this bitch." I was like, "For real?" He's like, "Yeah, these are 2 songs. Like, leave that other song for like something we could do together." And I was like,
Yeah, sick.
that's right when we started becoming the Chemists. And I was like, I've never shared my shit before like that, you know?
Victor, why'd you tell him that though?
What did I tell him? Oh,
Like-
to make 2 songs? Is
Yeah,
that
or
one?
why to save that?
Well, for selfish reasons, to be honest, because we were working on.
Talk that shit.
We were working on an album, and like he had a lot of these like dark ideas, and like I think we were kind of in a point in writing the album where we had about 6 or 7 records, and a lot of it was stuff that like there were like maybe 2-3 songs that we'd made together like in the moment, and then there were a handful of songs that I kind of just pitched Marty that I just like in my own time I had this idea, got to the studio an hour early, and like just fucking knocked out a demo, whatever, and sent him something, and I think that like. In my head, I was like, we need to balance out the yin and yang of this album. So I need you to fucking give me something good. So I could feel like you're giving me something that I can't fuck up. And I think Leave Me to Die was that moment where you gave me something that I can't fuck this up. And I think that
Damn.
what makes it cool is that like you didn't even know it was there. You didn't even know how good of a song you'd written.
That's why I love saying
you know?
stories so much.
Yeah. So like I understand your emotional attachment to it.
But
'cause-
that's what you needed
That's
to
super
like
sick.
propel you guys, right?
Well, like, absolutely, but like you know, it was just a good moment. It was a good day, you know. And I'm glad you followed me on that
Bro.
because you didn't want to at first.
No, at all. I'm so stubborn, and I'm just starting to get to learn how to work with you. Like, I'm a stubborn guy. Like, my ideas are mine. You know, they're perfect the way they are.
I was
but
like, no, that's ours.
yeah. And I went okay, and that's a part of being a teammate. You know, I was like, well, like I respect you, so like, what's your point of view on that? Maybe I'm not seeing it right. Maybe like we have something else to see, and maybe there is enough. And you know what? To this day, I can we'll go on the whip and play that track next. Toxic Tendencies sounds nasty. I fucking
Let's
murder
play that
shit.
track next. I'll hold you to
But
that.
Leave Me to Die is a song you guys heard already, and
Loved it.
that's a video.
Yeah,
So there was enough
sick
for
track.
2. You know,
Oh, that's when you
Yes,
separated.
yes,
Yeah, I have to hear them.
yes.
now. I
Yes,
have to
like
hear them
he
both
snapped. He snapped.
That's
so
dope.
like my
Me too when you sing on it.
yeah.
Respect, bro.
The
Thank you.
reason why I like that song is because he split it up and he decided it was gonna be nice, and it's vulnerable in my perspective, but it's also very intricately written. It demonstrates for me, coming from like a rapping perspective, like freestyling guy. It's a lot about like intricacies and flows and tempos and timings and cadences. But I'm going into a pop realm, and it's the first time that they all work together so seamlessly. And one more thing I gotta say about this song is that when we made the beat for the song, like he makes all the beats, right? I went up to, it's every Tuesday. So Tuesday I show up, I have a poem, you know. On the Sunday, I made Toxic Tendencies, and he was like, cut it. So Monday passes, I go to work, he goes to work. Tuesday, I'm like, hey, we're here now. He's like, man, my machine is fucking not working. I gotta download something or something.
I think it was like my keyboard. I ended up buying a
going
new
on.
like Magic keyboard or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
It was like my Apple keyboard. I think wasn't working or some shit.
There was something.
Something wasn't, and it was just a, it was. A struggle.
It wasn't like his
Making
fault,
that beat
like
was a
he's an
struggle.
idiot. It was like the situation where like it's technology being technology, you know.
Yeah.
Excuse me, I'm lit. But he figured it out, and the keyboard wouldn't plug in. Like the keyboard wouldn't work. He wasn't able to like but he was typing in the keys with his index
Because you remembered it, right?
because he's a fucking wizard. Bro, the notes that he's playing are like like and the harmonies to him and shit. And he was clicking them in, and I remember that. Like my session is like from 12 to 9. 12 to 6, we're driving back and forth to Long and McQuaid. He's trying to get equipment. 6, I'm like, okay, well, we're not going to record tonight. We're not, you know?
That's what you thought.
100%. Because the keyboard's not working. And he's like, well, it's not working. And I'm like, all right, it's okay. But he's still like, you know? All of a sudden, he's clicking the notes. Instead of like typing them in on the keyboard, like multiple, he's just clicking them. And I'm like, whatever. I don't look. I don't really look. I'm like, whatever. Like,
You used to work.
I do my part.
Yeah.
My part is mic's on, go. Like that's my part. Like that, I can't. That's 10,000 hours. You know, I could do it eventually, but I'm not gonna pretend like I can do that too. Maybe I could, you know, but I have to learn. And like that's why I like this guy, because it's like, whoa, what's going on there? I kind of want to keep it a secret, you know. Yeah. So it's like he's doing something, and then all of a sudden we got a whole beat going, and the song came about that evening. Once you were clicking, I kind of lose.
Yeah, I
memory.
think the whole thing was like about 2.5, 3 hours. Just like punch this in. Did I give you the verse that day?
I don't remember shit.
I don't remember.
And
that
all I know is what I've been saying.
Yeah,
to be
it
honest.
was a long time ago, but yeah,
But it was
shit,
magical.
Shit wasn't working,
and that's why
it came together.
Wow, that was a long answer. Like that was like a 15-minute answer to like, what's your favorite song off the album?
Well, that was a loaded
Leave
question.
It to Die
What's your
because
favorite song?
because of all of that shit. All right,
Yeah.
That's my answer.
No, I
okay?
love that. And what about you? What's your reason
Respect.
behind your favorite song, bro?
So I said I Want It All, and I think a reason for that is because it was sort of my first attempt at like singing over like a synthwave instrumental, and like my first time kind of being inspired by like that whole like time period of like the 80s synth music and shit. And like I think it was just something I really wanted to do, and it was something that Marty had already done and that we'd made, because we have a song that like which we could speak more on.
What
But
song?
well, no, because it's one of those songs where it's like in a year we're gonna like
Later.
it's one of those songs from like 2-3 years ago that we recently decided we're gonna revisit.
On my album, Bring On the Night, it's one of those songs. That
Yeah, on his Bring On the Night
that's
album,
rap, but he's
When
like,
we
does
made
it
this
drop?
song.
When does it
Look,
drop?
off camera. After all this shit,
Alright.
we'll play it for you guys.
Okay. That's what I
Okay,
hear.
but it's one of those songs where it's like it's so far in the future that there's so many fucking hurdles we got to climb to figure out like all the logistics and all that shit. So I don't want to speak too much on it now, but I remember like we made that beat, and like it's a beat that like it stuck with us for 3-4 years of this fucking of all the growing pains we've gone through. So like it's important to us, you know. Yeah. And like I remember thinking like I've never given myself this type of beat, like this sort of synthwave beat. I've never tried it, and I think that was like Marty was my gateway into producing that style of music, and it was my first opportunity to try to do something over it. And like I think because of that song, Leave Me to Die came about, and I think because of that song, like we have a whole other project down the pipeline of like pretty much entirely synthwave music. And like I think that like it's interesting because like we started making this shit and then all of a sudden the weekend drops Dawn FM and we're like, oh fuck. Like
we're on the right
yeah, maybe we're on to something.
Let me just say something real quick, bro. Like whenever I'm on some like tight beat instrumentals on YouTube, like trying to freestyle at night and shit, like I found I'm on a podcast. I shouldn't say the secret sauce, but I'm gonna do it. Okay. The sauce is future funk. You go on YouTube, look up future funk,
and
it says it's an hour long of like 80s Japanese.
Synthwave is the same.
They're like the old school like fucking like what are those cars from like Need for Speed Underground 2? Like those like old tuners.
What's it called? It'd be a GTR.
Going down the highway in a pink skyline,
too, yeah.
and they're playing some fucking like Sailor Moon type of like bop, 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 bop type shit, bro. I'm telling you,
hella Japanese inspired.
Yo, let me tell you
like,
something,
hella
bro.
city pop inspired.
Let me tell you something, bro. I'm gonna go on this phone right now. I'm gonna find you the beat Midnight Pretenders that little The Weeknd had on his album for Out of Time. That beat was on the shit I found. So I looked up drunk as fucking dumbass on YouTube. Looking stupid shit. I found The Weeknd's beat, bro. I went, this nigga's in the same pool. The shit that I like, that I fuck with, that's the vibe right now.
Yeah.
That's what people are selling billions of records to,
and that's been a vibe
stadiums.
For a while. That's been on some like underground shit. Like a lot of the
house.
We get that.
Well, we get that. So Future House.
That's our
Future
shit.
House is another underground genre.
I'm gonna find it for you right now. No
cap. Tapping into right.
No
But
cap.
it's like I'll lead you through a ride, and it's like
it's the same idea though, where it's like because mainstream music is entirely a game of like what underground sound are we going to capitalize on now. And I feel like, you know, being in the internet era, being in the age of information, like we've tapped a lot into things that are just revivalism, like in fashion and music and culture, period. Just because we're like, we now know about these things, you know what I mean? Like it's so easily accessible. Like let's fucking, you know.
Yo, y'all, I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. No. Keep going on your point.
Oh. Why is that not it?
That's
hey Marty, if that's not the song, like
that's the city pop record.
This is Out of Time.
Yeah, you can't. You probably can't play that
unless you guys sign this off.
Don't play a song. But now that I know what that is, Midnight.
Marty, don't play just because like unless you guys are gonna sign this off, we'll get copyright.
It's not their song, right?
Boys, no,
it's not the Weeknd song. It's the song the Weeknd sampled in one of his beats on his most recent album. Yeah. But still, we shouldn't play it.
I'm not playing it. No. Can I say the name of the song?
Yeah.
Okay, so like Midnight Pretenders from Tomoko Aran is the exact same beat that he used for Out of Time.
Jeez.
The exact same beat. Like there's no difference in octave change, tempo, different instruments. The exact same thing. So like these are the types of songs. Like this, look at this picture.
Yeah,
like that's the kind of vibe that Future Funk is. Go on YouTube, bro. Look it up. You're gonna find your next single on the radio on there.
That's crazy.
So like, what our
we're
job
in a big
is like,
revival
what's
as a
next?
Remember that was Madonna, right? That was the future vibe back in the day. It was Madonna. What's it called? It's another female. Like it was a lot of that like.
Talking about like Cher.
Yes.
Like with the auto tune and all.
Not Cher, but it was like that very poppy. Like it sold itself at the end of the day.
Yeah. Well, pop has always just been an amalgamation of every other genre. Like, let's just all put it all together.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, that's what mainstream music is like, let's just be inspired by everything underground. Let's steal it. And then, like, let's make... Like, if you listen to a pop record, you're going to get a Travis Scott reverb, delay effect, ad-lib in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And, like, you're going to get trap drums in every fucking pop song.
Yeah, 808s.
But that's why I like the idea of... Because, like, I wake up every day and I go to the studio and I make trap beats most of the time, right? Whether I'm making trap music or whether I'm making pop music or R&B or whatever the fuck, 95% of my palette is going to be the same fucking trap drum kit. And that's mainly just because like the trap wave has been going on since like 2014. Like this has been... Well, yeah, Chief Keef is a big part of it, but like at that point it was underground and then they stole it, right? Like, so like that's essentially like, you know, it all stems from the same thing, but like, you know, like Atlanta being as popular as it is, you know, like every genre of music now is the same fucking Roland TR-808 kit, like compressed and sampled in different ways. So like that's why I like I Want It All, is because this is our gateway to maybe what the next wave of pop music might be. Like, let's get ahead of that. Like, let's start making. And I mean, like, you know, you saw like Tory Lanez Alone at Prom. You know what I mean? He's trying to do the same shit. You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're gonna try to jump on a wave ahead of time because we know that like eventually this is where it's gonna go. And then Dua Lipa, future nostalgia, right? Like, it's still it's the same shit. It's like we're just gonna resample a lot of old. And like I've been into a lot of pop artists that have been doing that like since before it was like Charlie XCX is my favorite artist right now, right? As far as the pop sphere, because she's like constantly like
He's
ahead
been
of
telling me that for
ahead of the
fucking
wave.
years.
So like
Years.
so for me, like, you know, I'm excited about this idea that like I Want It All songs, like I Want It All and Leave Me to Die. Like we have an album of a bunch of like trap beats and shit. But like we have a couple songs on there that kind of dictate where we're going with our sound.
That's sick.
And I'm sort of excited to kind of let those breadcrumms out of the bag. You know?
I love it. I can't. It sounds like you guys have been working on like some magic, like very intentfully. You know what I mean? Like,
Yo,
yeah.
well,
you have to. At a certain point, you have to.
Cool. I know, but
Like,
that's amazing to hear, yo. I guess like, is there any like last like plugins? I guess you guys want to give to the audience, or because I know you guys are brewing something. You guys are
So
cooking.
when's
The
the album
Chemists.
drop?
No, they already said that they don't want to give a date, right?
Like I have a date. That,
A little
like,
teaser.
I have a date, but like I don't want to say the date. You know, it's one of those.
October, November,
week?
at least month.
Okay, we're gonna say early December.
Early December.
Early December. It's gonna be
I love
cold
it.
out. It's a cold
Before
album.
Christmas.
Before Christmas, ideally.
I can't feel a thing anymore. 10 tracks.
Yeah.
All right, I'm amped to hear it, yo.
It's
and, like,
awesome.
Guaranteed.
yeah. Oh, you got a question? All right,
Yeah, for
come
sure.
in. Yeah, swap in.
We have to hear you. We have to hear you ask the question.
Producers in.
All right, so Vic, you're wearing a shirt that says "The Impossible Possibilities."
Yeah.
So for both of you gentlemen, because you've definitely overcome some impossible possibilities, what's your favorite one to date?
My favorite impossible possibility.
If you don't have an answer, I have one.
Well, you go first.
Yeah, okay. Just let you load it up, you know?
Let me think.
Yeah,
This is why we're a duo.
Yeah.
Makes me think.
Yeah.
I'm
He just
adopted, you
freestyles.
know? I have white parents.
Rest.
So
Yeah.
every day's an impossibility to me because, like, it's kind of weird to... That sounds so corny. But, like, every day is kind of weird, you know? I'm a black guy adopted in a white family, and I want to make music. A lot of challenges in that.
Do you find like that itself created like a bunch of hurdles that you had to overcome, or?
Yeah, I feel like there's nowhere that I'm meant to be. There's no role model for me. Like, I'm a role model for me, and like I have to be the role model for somebody. And like now I'm getting older. I'm like turning 30 in March, and I'm like, yo, I learned what I've learned. Like, it's time for me to be what I am, and you know, hopefully let that be something.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe in what I do, so hopefully somebody can
See the
learn from that in
passion,
that
the
sense, or
effort.
you know,
Yeah.
I don't know,
Definitely. No.
fight through the hard time.
Yo,
Okay,
Vic,
yeah.
jump in. I know you have a couple things to say.
Well, I would say that, like, you know, the shirt should probably say the impossible possibility, and that is that, like, we, you know, succeeded everything we're trying to do, you know. Like, it's just the same fucking corny answer at the end of the day, you know. But it's like realistically, like, I don't think we've overcome the impossible. I feel like everything we've overcome have all been possible up to this point, and I feel like our next objective is to do the impossible, and to show people that the impossible isn't impossible. So yeah, I guess that's really my answer, is like to fucking get in there and really do this, and hopefully influence culture and influence, you know, those to fucking do their best at whatever they want to do.
That's awesome. So leave us off with this. What would you like to tell our audience? Last two things.
Yerp.
I mean, like, yeah. That's,
Yo, Victor. Come on. End it off.
what do you
well.
want me to What kind of like?
I don't know. I feel like that was a good note to end it on. So like we'll let
Europe. I resonate with Europe for sure.
Pause.
Let's go. Yeah. I guess
Yeah,
we're
just
kind
like-
of
Yeah, all right,
roll it
yo,
out
thank you
and-
everyone who's made it this far, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll have all your, you know, your Instagram handles up there too, and peace, guys, take care.
Yeah, stay
Done
tuned
though.
for the album. Stay tuned for
Yeah.
the album.